Welcome back, everyone. Jake here. Currently, we're on day 118 of Russia's disastrous invasion of Ukraine, and it's estimated that over 33,800 Russian soldiers have been killed so far. This doesn't include wounded in action, missing in action, or prisoners of war. And in this video, I want to solve the mystery. The mystery being, how can this number for Russian casualties possibly be this high? It's easy to be skeptical of this number, say it's much too high, given that the source is Ukraine's defense ministry. However, I think I've solved the mystery, and the answer has to do with the Russian separatist forces in the Donbas region. So prior to the invasion of the war, it was estimated that Russia went into Ukraine with about 200,000 soldiers. So how many fighters did the separatist regions bring to the war? If we scroll down, we can look at what the basically standing army of the separatist region was, and in 2021 it was estimated at 44,000. So when Ukraine calculates this number, they're including everyone they kill fighting on the side of the Russians, whether it's Chechen National Guards, private mercenaries with the Wagner Group, Syrian fighters, and these separatist regions, these separatist fighters from the Donetsk People's Republic and the Luhansk People's Republic. And I didn't really understand the casualty rate and what's happening until I watched this video from an excellent YouTube channel. I highly recommend him. The name of the channel is Perun, and he put out this video 9 days ago titled "All Metal, No Manpower, Russia's Infantry Shortages and Mobilization in Ukraine." And as soon as I watched this video, it clicked in my mind what exactly is happening with Russia's casualty numbers. And prior to the war, this article's from February 19th, the Russian-backed separatist leaders declared full military mobilization of their people in the separatist regions. So if we scroll down, we'll read that Russian-backed separatist leaders declared a full military mobilization in the separatist areas of Donetsk and Luhansk and ordered the evacuation of civilians to Russia. They accused Ukraine of planning an invasion of the rebel-held territory, which of course the Ukrainian government denied. So what happened is that this number that I'm seeing on Wikipedia, this estimate of 44,000, this was pre-mobilization. And in the last 4 months, these republics just keep mobilizing and mobilizing as they bring more people into the conflict. So let's think about the potential numbers that Russia has at their disposal if they just force conscript everyone in this region. What is the population within the Russian separatist-held areas? The population of the city of Luhansk, this was as of 2017, is about 400,000. The city of Donetsk is much larger, population close to 900,000 in 2017. So let's add it all up and use nice round numbers and assume that about 1.5 million people live in the separatist-controlled region. Prior to the war, let's say that about 500,000 people either fled east to Russia or fled west to western Ukraine to avoid the fighting. That leaves about 1 million people. Half of them are men. Let's once again use nice round numbers. Another half of those are men of fighting age that are eligible to be drafted. So that gives Russia a potential pool of 250,000 men that they can supplement to their own military coming in with about 200,000 official Russian soldiers. So that solves it right there. How is it possible that Ukraine can be killing and wounding and capturing so many, and yet Russia is able to continue fighting this war? The solution is forced conscription of the separatist regions, and Russia, in effect, is just wiping out the entire male population of the Donbas region. One of my subscribers messaged me on Instagram. His name is Derek. This is what he says. Hey, just wanted to share this conversation I had with a friend in Donetsk today. He was very into Kremlin propaganda at the beginning of the war, but he's now confirming that they're basically drafting every male in Donbas. Here's a screenshot of the conversation from a man named Kirill who lives in Donetsk, and he says he's scared to leave his home, that if you're a man in this region of military age between 18 and 65, the Russian police are just going to abduct you. They're going to say, a war is happening, get your boots on, we're sending you to the front line. He's not scared of shells or bombing. He's scared of being drafted and then being sent to the front. So when we look at the maps of the fighting currently happening in Severodonetsk, the Ukrainians are saying this, that the Russians just keep coming and coming. How is this possible? And it's possible because the most dangerous job in the military is grunt. It's infantrymen. It's the guys being told to go on foot into a city, an active war zone, and go clear buildings, go find the landmines. So here is a video from Ukraine TV English. This is the official YouTube channel for Ukraine State Media. The title of this video is Scenarios for the End of the War. Ukraine is defending. Russia is close to exhausting their resources. And the top comment on this video is from a Ukrainian sniper named Victor. And I just want to share this comment with you. I think it's pretty interesting. And this is what he says, what the Ukrainian forces holding out, basically surrounded on three sides. This is what the morale is of the Ukrainian fighters in Severodonetsk. I finally have a small break and saw this. I wanted to add something from my experience. I am in Donbas now. My unit was near Kyiv until we won that battle, then transferred to the Kharkiv Oblast. I was moved to a new unit who needs a sniper. This fighting is the most intense I have ever seen. Our intelligence says Russia has probably 40 to 50% of all troops, all of their forces in Ukraine, attacking this one town of Severodonetsk. But we are holding them by a miracle. We are the clear advantage in urban fighting as we are defenders and we know the area. I think in a matter of weeks, their other fronts may collapse. They are already moving troops from other areas to attack here, and we are grinding them to dust. I have seen more action here than in a video game. I have always believed we will win. The question is time. Well, the time may be near. If we hold Severodonetsk and Lysychansk, I do not lie when I say their whole offensive may collapse. Our losses are big, but Russia has probably lost 2 to 3 times as many attacking this city. They cannot sustain this. We are getting huge numbers of new territorial defense from Western Ukraine as well. Thank you for the support, and to those who have come to help defend Ukraine, you are legends, and Ukraine has not perished. So, in the beginning of this war, the first 7 to 10 days, Russia got trapped in a lie. They stated to their people publicly that conscripts were not being used in this war. Conscripts would not be forced to fight. Of Russia's million-man army, about a quarter, 250,000, are conscripts on a 1-year service commitment. However, in the first couple days of this war, conscripts were obviously being used. They were being killed and captured and interrogated. So what Vladimir Putin did is he pulled all the conscripts out. Yes, they might still be in defensive roles behind, the front lines, but conscripts are not being sent into Severodonetsk to clear buildings and engage in urban combat. Putin, by May 9th, had made the decision that he didn't need to mobilize the Russian people because he was just going to use every able-bodied man in the Donbas region to fill these grunt roles, to fill these infantry roles. And Russia doesn't really care about these people from the Donbas region. They're not equipping them with modern armor, modern equipment, and modern weapons. These pictures and videos of these DPR, LPR fighters have gone viral all over social media because they've been equipped with Mosin rifles. They're not even being given Kalashnikovs or modern assault rifles. They're literally being given bolt-action rifles from the 1800s. That is how little the Russian military and Vladimir Putin actually care about these fighters, and how they just expect them mostly to die in this urban fighting. They're not trying to conserve their lives or protect these people. They're sending them in without training, without equipment, without much hope of success. But if they somehow do succeed, that's great for Russia. If they die in the streets of Severodonetsk, Russia doesn't really care. So here is a video I shared on my channel almost 3 months ago. This was posted on YouTube March 5th of 2022, and it's titled, "Captured Russian Soldiers Tell Ukrainian Soldiers They Are Teachers Sent to War." These men are very out of shape. They're in their 50s. They don't have proper equipment. And I didn't understand it at the time, but these are DPR, LPR conscripts immediately tossed into the front lines. They got literally no training before they were sent to die, and thankfully for them, the Ukrainians captured them, and probably they're still prisoners of war. And a lot of these separatist troops have publicly expressed their frustration with the Russian government and the Russian military. Here's a story from 2 weeks ago of this leader of Donetsk fighters stating that he's very disappointed in Vladimir Putin because these men are being sent to the front lines without proper weapons, proper equipment, without food, without medicine. And there's lots of men in his units that have health complications, whether it's cancer, diabetes, back problems. There are no medical exemptions. All men in these separatist-held regions are being forced to the front line. Here's another article from last month of 200 residents from Donetsk that were told to mobilize, and instead they refused to go. They didn't. Look at this man. He looks like he's like 65 years old. So Russia views this as a win-win. These men in the Donetsk and Luhansk oblasts, these are Ukrainian citizens. 8 years ago, when Vladimir Putin's puppet president was in charge of Kyiv, these were loyal citizens of Ukraine. As soon as they had their revolution and the pro-Russian president was kicked out of office, all of a sudden Russia viewed this as their territory and their people. But Russia really doesn't care about them. Russia, for centuries, has used this tactic of depopulation, either moving people or just murdering them all, and then repopulating these areas with loyal Russians. So the plan, if they can get control of the entire Donbas, that's great. Doesn't matter if hundreds of thousands of these separatist fighters die in the process. Russia really only cares about the women and children. There's more women for Russian men. Children can be indoctrinated into the Putin youth army. And eventually, once this region settles down, if Russia does win this war, they'll just repopulate this area with proper Russians that are already completely loyal to the empire, completely loyal to Vladimir Putin. Something interesting I want to point out is that the Ukrainian citizens of Crimea haven't been mobilized, haven't been forced into this war, because they technically are, according to Russia, Russian citizens right now. But because Donetsk and Luhansk were liberated and given their independence, Russia can mobilize these people and force them to do whatever they want, and technically they're not Russian citizens. They can't really object in the Duma. Let's now wrap up this war talking about real heroes and real fighters, the Ukrainians volunteering to defend freedom and democracy in their country. I love seeing these videos and sharing them with you. I don't know this soldier's name, but he got pretty creative with his weapon in order to share this song.
Ой, лузі червона калина похилилася, чомусь наша славна Україна зажурилася. підіймемо, а ми нашу славну Україну, гей, гей, розвеселимо. Що ми ту червону калину підіймемо, а ми нашу славну Україну, гей, гей, розвеселимо.
I really enjoyed that. Let's do one more from the front lines. This man right here, Alexander, he was a music teacher before the war. Now he's got a gun. However, he brought one of his instruments with him and still likes to occasionally play. That's all I got for this update video. If you found it informative, give me a thumbs up. Really helps out with the channel. If you have any comments or questions or know something I don't, let me know in a comment down below. I love hearing from you guys. Till the next video, take care, be safe.